Washington's clear-thinking headquarters. The Morning Majority, 5 to 9 on 630 WMAL.
8:37, Brian Wilson, Mary Catherine Ham, and we are pleased this morning to be joined by Ann Coulter's got a new book out called Demonic, and it's at the top of all the charts, as all your books are. And you get to toss to our first guest, who I think you probably have a few questions for.
Yes, I am so excited to say my friend Andrew Breitbart is here. So, Andrew, I'm reading these quotes from you saying you feel sorry for Anthony Weiner. What's that about?
Well, I just want to know what we can do next. Now that he's out of office, what's the next stage? Where can we go from here with him?
Well, I'm sure CNN and Current TV are looking into that right now.
How do I feel sorry for him? The only time I felt sorry for him was when I was in the press conference. I got him to apologize to me, and I was just standing there, and he just had this sad sack look on his face when he looked over at me, and I was not used to that. I'm usually, I don't know if you've seen that in your work.
In other words, you didn't have to look your prey in the eye normally, right?
Yeah, so
no, it was an historic moment getting an apology from a liberal who's been attacking you and accusing you. Though I was disappointed in yesterday's press conference that it did not begin with a statement from you, Andrew Breitbart.
I know. I was unfortunately in the air from O'Hare to Minneapolis. I was like, how do I get there?
Andrew, I have a question for you. I mean, we talked about this earlier. We all saw the Anthony Weiner press conference yesterday, and we saw how it sort of devolved into a screaming match. And Mary Catherine and I are sort of the opinion, why in the world did he have to call a press conference to do this? Why didn't he just issue a piece of paper and quietly walk away? Is it something about the guy's personality that just requires him to stand in front of the cameras even on a day like that?
Look, I took freshman psychology 24 years ago. I took I went to 4 sessions of the 20 or so, and I can say with absolute certainty that he has narcissistic personality disorder. That's how and why.
Well, and you can't hold on to a bevy of Daily Kos devotees, women, without getting out there and doing your press conference. You can't just fade into the background.
I just think the weirdest thing was how over the last week he kept going to pick up his dry cleaning. I mean, he really, most public figures don't do it even when they're not in the midst of a huge, humiliating scandal.
It's almost like he wanted to have that interaction.
Right.
He needed it, isn't it?
And that, well, like you say, with the press conference, though I understand that you two were critical of my new favorite.
Yeah, he felt
morning.
a little sorry for him. I was surprised it happened.
I loved the heckling.
I didn't think it was possible to have sympathy for Anthony Weiner, but I mean, Andrew Breitbart apparently has some sympathy for the man on some level.
Of course I do.
And I have a little sympathy for, okay, you finally came to the decision that took a long time, and you hold a press conference, questionable whether you should have, but once you did, to be interrupted by a heckler, I just thought was sort of
he
beyond
would
the
still
pale.
be talking if he hadn't been interrupted by the heckler. You put a camera in front of him, we'd still be listening to that press conference.
I don't know what it is about New York politicians. I mean, there's a saying on Capitol Hill that the most dangerous place to be on Capitol Hill is between Senator Chuck Schumer and a TV camera, and Weiner very
learned well.
Was very much of the same mold. That's for sure.
Did you like the goodbye pervert comment? That's the exact moment he said that I resigned. Goodbye, pervert. I would say this. He put this country through this for 3 weeks. He put, Nancy Pelosi has to have a stage beyond resignation for what this guy did for 3 weeks. He could have gone to sex rehab by Sunday, May 29th, and he would have been out. And he would have been on The View, and they would have said he was the most courageous human being in the history of the planet, and he'd be back to sexting people. But what he did for 3 weeks was easily the most bizarre, glorious thing that I've ever seen.
Well, and that's the question. Why can't someone like Pelosi, who we are informed is so intelligent, why can't she figure that out and say, hey, Anthony, here's how you go about this. Get it done.
She is intelligent compared to him. I do find it weird how all these liberals are always touted as so gorgeous and beautiful and brilliant. And I keep hearing how brilliant Anthony Weiner is.
And waxed.
And waxed. I just looked up his college and Chris Lee's college. Chris Lee went to a better college. Why don't we always hear about how brilliant he is? Anthony Weiner went to a college where they accept half the applicants. It's a Bush League school. Then he works for politicians his whole life. He's basically the dictionary definition of a loser. And you have to keep hearing about what a genius he is, and he's so fabulous. Why don't we hear that about Chris Lee? And probably most people don't even know who Chris Lee is because he resigned before you heard about the scandal.
That's right. Andrew, as you look across your vast landscape in the world today, what is next for you? I mean, what is the next thing that you care passionately about?
Well, policy. I'm a policy guy. I always have been. I'm just kidding. I like going after the bad guys. I like going after the bullies on the playground. I kind of always thought that Anthony Weiner was a bully on the playground. I'm glad that he made it about me the first 3 days. I'm glad that I became the object of his desire to take me down, to claim that I was the hacker in this type of thing. And it's the same thing with when I was, with the teachers up in
Wisconsin.
It's the same thing with the SEIU or Acorn. When I see bullies, I just get really, I don't know. I mean, this is my fetish, to be honest with you. I saw a congressman's
Is this your addiction? Are you confessing your addiction to us, Andrew?
This is definitely my addiction. I honestly, I mean, first of all, I'm in Minnesota right now, and I stayed out till 2:30 with the cost people, with the. My fetish is hanging out with and taking down the institutional left. And last night I got to hang out with the netroots, the hardcore left-wing activists. They all thought that they had me last night, and you know what I'm doing with them today?
What?
I'm getting a big bouncy for them. I'm here in Minnesota. I said, you know what? And I just called like an 800 number, and I'm renting a big bouncy for them.
A bouncy?
Like a bouncy house?
Yeah.
Nice.
What a guy you are.
Well,
I am.
And he's in Minneapolis, we should say, for Right Online and Netroots Nation are both going on in Minneapolis, head-to-head at the same time. This happens once a year. And last night they had a big mixer for righties and lefties, apparently.
Would have liked to have been there.
I'll be in there, and if they want to come after me, they can bounce into me. They can try to hit me as hard as they want. And I guarantee you their heads are going to hit each other by mistake. And I'm just going to have a great day today.
All right. Andrew Breitbart joining us here on WML. Thank you, Andrew. Good to be with you.